Hi everyone, Sally here. Welcome to Menopause Mindset Monday. How are you doing? Did you have a lovely weekend? How has your week been? Let me know how you are. Drop a comment in the box if you're watching. Send me a wave, send me a hi. So today we are talking about a very slightly challenging topic. I don't think I've ever done a Facebook Live about sex before, but let's give it a go. And it is a very important topic because of many reasons, actually, and mainly because sex has got loads of health benefits. So we do need to talk about it. So today's topic is called How to Improve Sex in Your Long-Term Relationship. Now, for all you singles out there, please don't worry. I'm going to be doing another Facebook Live next week about how to attract love into your life and why you actually don't need a makeover in order to attract love into your life. But for today, I'm going to be talking to those of us who are in a relationship or a long-term relationship. And let's talk about this issue. Hey, Paula, how you doing, lovely? So, why are we talking about sex in a long-term relationship? So, if you are going through your menopause transition and you have been in a relationship for a very long time, sex might become tricky. It might be slightly painful because we do have vaginal dryness as we go into the menopause transition, and it might have become a bit lackluster. Familiarity breeds contempt, that old expression, and you might just not be feeling it. It might just be, your libido might have gone south. And like I said, we do need to address this topic because sex has so many health benefits. The pleasure that it ignites within us, releases all that nitric oxide. It's good for our blood pressure. It's good for our motivation. It's good for our happy hormones. It reduces stress, and we need it in our life. And I think there's this whole topic around women and pleasure. Our pleasure has been kind of quashed in a way by the patriarchy, and we need to take our pleasure back. So this is about reclaiming our right to pleasure. So do we need to improve our relationships, our sex at menopause? Well, we have this loss of libido. We might have this loss of libido because our bodies are no longer prioritizing our sex hormones. So, in our 20s and 30s, we were fertile, we were hungry for it, we were, rampant. We definitely had more desire when we were younger. And that's because our bodies, we're ripe. Our bodies are younger, fitter, stronger to bear children. And that's why we have more sexual desire. Hey, TJ. And as we get older, that animalistic urge can decline as estrogen declines, as our sex hormones, as testosterone declines as well. It's not just estrogen. We might have vaginal dryness, which again occurs because of declining estrogen. The vaginal walls become thinner, and we might have pain. Sex might be painful for us, and those vaginal walls might get slightly irritated. As we get older, we tend to get more routine-y, we tend to get more habituated, and that is a real disaster area for passion. So mystery ignites passion, and familiarity ignites safety and security, really. And we get into those patterns, don't we, with our partners? Maybe we've just got into a really great routine which works for us. It works for other areas of our life. Maybe it's great for our sleep. It's not so good for our fieriness. And so safety and security can be a bit of a passion killer. And stress can also really make our libido go south. If we are stressed, if we are full of resentment, if we are trying to take on too much as women, we're trying to hold everything down, that can really make us not want to have sex at all. And also there's this idea of body shame as well. As we get older, our bodies do not look the same as they did when we were in our 20s and 30s. And we can become really weirded out by that. the changes in our body. Maybe our skin becomes a bit more wrinkly, it's lost its elasticity, maybe our boobs are going more south, maybe we've got that meno belly, maybe we just don't feel as young and hot and sexy, and that's because we're not. We are different, and we need to embrace these differences. So, what can we do about it? Well, I've got 3 little mindset tools which I think are going to help you. I say little, they're quite big, they're quite monumental actually. But before I dive into the mindset, I just want to say a little bit about the kind of practical stuff. Obviously, lubrication. I meant to bring my lube in and show you. It's called Yes. I think it's Yes, or is it? Yes, it's called Yes. There's another one called Silk, and these are natural. So you want to go for a natural organic lubricant if you can, and just use it, like use loads of it. I use a water-based lubricant, which is safe with toys as well. You can get oil-based, and I think there's another type of lubricant you can get. But water-based lubricant is great for any kind of vaginal dryness. You can also get topical HRT, which contains estrogen, which helps to it just helps with the thinning of the vaginal wall, and that you get on prescription, I believe. So if you are experiencing redness, soreness, any kind of irritation in your vagina, then please do speak to a doctor. And this is another thing, if you are going to go to the doctor, I know a lot of women have trouble getting their doctors to really understand the significance and the weight of their menopausal problems, because a lot of doctors don't really see its validity. It's, a quality of life issue, not a life-threatening issue. So it kind of gets put to the back burner. But, half the population are women. And I think we need to go to a sympathetic doctor. If you are going to go to your doctor, go to a doctor who specializes in menopause. So usually it'll be a female doctor, but not always. And ask them what they can do to help you. So I am on body identical HRT, and I've noticed that my mood has stabilized. I still get a bit up and down. My sex drive has improved for sure, and definitely not as dry as I used to be. So it's, I'm bearing my soul here, ladies. Come on. So it's really important that we talk about it. We do need to talk about it. I'm putting myself on the line to help you. I hope you appreciate it. I'm sure you do. All right. So I want to talk about these mindset tools to help you improve your sex life around the menopause transition. So number 1 is really all about meeting yourself where you're at, meeting your sex life where it's at. So if it's a bit vanilla, if it's not very regular, that is okay. We often compare ourselves, don't we, to Mr. and Mrs. Smith next door who are doing it once a week or twice a week, and maybe we're not. Maybe we're doing it once a month. Maybe we think that's wrong, but I think what's really important is that we make where we are at with our sex life, we need to make it okay and not shameful. And we need to make it we need to sort of love it where it's at. So when you're in your 20s, you might have been having it 3 times a week, every night, you might just be full of sex. But as we get older and been in relationships for a long time, it's not like that. Now, the thing is, as we get older, I think sex takes on a very different flavour, takes on a very different quality. It's not just about wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. It's not animalistic. It's not about penetration, going at it like rabbits. Actually, when we become menopausal, sex can become very, very different. It can become cuddling. Sex can be kissing, it can be hand jobs, it can just be like exploring our partner's bodies or just stroking. It doesn't have to be full on. Now, this is about embracing where you're at and loving it. Don't try to turn it into something it's not. And really, about understanding that midlife sex is different. Of course, you can turn up the heat on your relationship, but you have to do it incrementally. You can't just go from 0 to 100 in one foul swoop. You can't do it. You do have to build up slowly. So I'm going to talk about this in a minute, but I just want to say as well that our I don't think midlife sex is promoted enough. I think when obviously we're all exposed to media, and when you look at the sex scenes in a lot of TV programs that you watch, it's all young hot sex, right? With hot bodies, and it's that, yeah, young sex basically. So I think that because when we get older, we're not seeing midlife sex very, very readily, then we think there's something wrong with us. We get that comparisonitis. We're not doing it enough. We're not as hot as the couple next door, etc. So I do think that media really needs to change this narrative, and I'm sure it is being changed in a lot more kind of arty and progressive TV programs. I'm sure you will find it. But when you think about TV programs like Love Island or Too Hot to Handle or all this kind of stuff on Netflix, it's just it can make you feel really bad about the sex life that you're having. And my challenge to you is to really challenge that narrative that you've got going on in your head. It doesn't have to be like the 20 somethings. Your sex life can be, vanilla is okay. You don't have to be swinging from the chandeliers. We have to work with what we've got. We have to work with our stress levels. We have to work with our feelings, our emotions, the baggage. As we go into midlife, we do have more baggage. We have we have all that stuff. So so as I was saying before, when it comes to turning up the heat, first you have to accept where you're at, and then you have to dial it up incrementally. So you cannot go from 0 to 100 in one session, especially not if it's been at 0 for like 5 years or 10 years or 15 years. You want to increase the heat in your relationship for very good reason. You have to start small and you have to go up slowly. So think of it like this. If you want to learn Italian, for example, you don't just suddenly have one lesson and become fluent. You have to go through all of the stages of learning. And it's the same with sex. You have to relearn your sex life in a different way. So it's like going through the gears of a car, right? Gear 1 might be cuddling, gear 2 might be kissing, gear 3 might be hand jobs, gear 4 might be oral, gear 5 might be penetration. So we have to go up through those gears, and you might find that one session is just cuddling, one session is just kissing, one session is just hand jobs, etc., etc. So you're building up really slowly. When we're younger, we can go through the whole gear set, can't we, in one session, in one 15-minute session. But when we're older, everything slows down. Our metabolism slows down. Our sexuality, the rate with which we can get turned on, it's slower. So women typically, and men as well actually, I think, need longer to warm up. We need longer to warm into the idea of this. And it is all about acceptance, surrender, meeting yourself where you're at, your beautiful relationship that you have cultivated over many, many years. It's gone through ups and downs and roundabout. You've hated each other. You've nearly split up. You've got back together. You've had kids. You've raised kids. You've built businesses in that time. Your relationship has been through so much, and it's sacred. It's sacred. And you have to really respect the relationship and everything that it's been through, and treat it with the respect that it deserves, and work with it. Work within the possibilities and the limitations of both of you. All right, so number 2. What to do if you don't really fancy your partner like you used to. And it happens. The lust disappears. We don't see them like we used to. We don't fancy them. Maybe they've got a pot belly, or we're just like, oh my God, I'm really not sure. And many marriages and long-term relationships do suffer in this way. We fancy them at the beginning. We really think they're hot stuff. We're drawn to them for that very reason. There's lots of infatuation. And yeah, as time goes on, not so much. So yeah, and this has been my experience in my relationship as well. One day I fancy the pants off my man. Next minute I'm like, oh, really not sure. But that is the nature of desire. It goes on, it goes off, it goes up, it goes down. And the thing that I've learned about this is that it's actually not about him, it's about me. It's about my perspective of him. And this is my top tip. It's really about, so your job is to maintain a positive perspective about your partner. Now, I'm a big mindset person. I'm all about the mind, the subconscious mind, visualizing, the conscious mind. Your imagination is the most powerful tool that you have. You have the potential to write movies in your mind. You can be like Steven Spielberg. You can create movies in your mind. You can visualize your partner as hot, as sexy. You can turn them into Brad Pitt in your mind. That is where the work is. And this can be hard work, but it is absolutely possible, because here's the thing. You cannot change your partner. You cannot make your partner go to the gym, get a six-pack, stop eating crap, start eating salads. That's up to them. If they want to choose to do that, that's wonderful. You can encourage and support and bolster and motivate, but the more you demand, the more you nag, the more that's going to send them running, and they're not going to want to do that for you or for them. So unless you have really fallen out of love with them, and you really have fallen out of love with them and you can't stand them and you hate them, or the relationship is really toxic, then I think it's actually best to work on your perspective of that other person, rather than throw the towel in. Because as we go through menopause, it is harder to find a relationship. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's not impossible. I know many single people who have found love in their midlife, but I also see a lot of single people in my business who find it really difficult to find love at midlife. And the loneliness becomes quite debilitating and often leads to a lot of anxiety and depression. So if you do have a good guy, hold on to him, work on yourself, work on your perspective of him. Don't nag, don't demand, bolster him, respect him, and motivate him, but also, take care of yourself. So how do we maintain a positive perspective? I've said all of that. You have to decide. You have to decide to see them in a positive light. Now, this has happened to me where I've gone so far down the rabbit hole of really not wanting to be with my partner, of just wishing that we could split up, but feeling trapped in the relationship. Same guy. Just feeling so sort of repulsed and like, don't want him anywhere near me, and just feeling empty in the relationship, feeling resentful, all of those really dark, horrible emotions. And the further down you go with that, the harder it is to climb out the other side, the harder it is to find a positive perspective. So don't let yourself get down that hole of hating on your partner, gossiping about him with your friends. I'm saying him. I'm so sorry. I should be saying him/her. So yeah, don't let yourself go too far down the rabbit hole. Use your imagination. See them in that hot suit. Keep a photograph of them on your desk or somewhere where they were looking good. Visualize them in those sexy jeans that you like. All right. Yeah. And this does become easier when you have cleared out all of your own baggage, right? Because when you're harboring tons of resentment, when you're hanging on to stress and fear and insecurity, and you've got the language of mum or dad that old programming, that kind of critical programming, I'm not good enough. When you've got all of that going on in your psyche, in your subconscious mind, it's really hard to see people in a positive light. Because not only do you not see your partner in a positive light, I would imagine that you are not seeing friends and other family members and colleagues in a positive light as well. This is about embracing the love for all, for all. Yeah, it's not just about your partner. Look at your wider reach as well. Where are you not seeing your friends in a positive light as well? Where are you constantly judging and being resentful of others too? So you have to let go of the past in order to see your partner in a positive light. Otherwise, you will be seeing them through the lens of the pain and also the lens of self-sabotage. And that's often why we get into these resentful and critical states of mind with our partners, because we're sabotaging our happiness, because we're not used to being happy. We're bringing ourselves back down to a place where we can be comfortably miserable because that's what we've known. It's sort of, in a way, knitted into our consciousness through the fabric of society that women should not be ecstatic, be pleasured, be full of joy. It's a big, big, big subject. I'm just going to have a quick slurp. Oh, that's good. Yes, and of course, the work that I do, the rapid transformational therapy that I do, can absolutely help to clear all that baggage, but it can also help your libido. I have worked with a few people who have had low libido, and it really is just about getting them to, in the recording, I can talk really dirty, get them going again, right? It's all programming. Okay, and yeah, that's another thing I recommend, listening to erotic audiobooks. It really bolsters your sexual desire because it's not explicitly visual and you can make up the image that you want in your mind. I love a bit of erotic audio. So, number 3, this is about relearning to love your body. So as we transition into our menopause, our body obviously changes. Maybe we have additional weight gain around the middle. Maybe our boobs have dropped. Maybe our skin's gone a bit wrinkly. Maybe we've got more cellulite, etc., etc. We don't look like the magazine models. Maybe we never did. Maybe we used to, and maybe we don't anymore. And that can be really hard. It can be really hard to let go of your younger body or the idea of your younger body. But that is exactly what we need to do. We need to let it go. We need to leave it in the past and recognize and realize that we are so much more than our bodies. Our body is a miracle. Our body houses our soul. Our body breathes for us. It gives us pleasure. It has all these ideas for us. It enables us to action these ideas. Our body is a miracle. But we are so much more than our bodies. We are a consciousness. We have ideas. We can connect to others. We have a heart. And so as we go through midlife, it becomes less about the body and more about what is beyond the body. And actually, when you are working on this with another person, this can be where it starts to really get quite spiritual. The sacred union between two people can actually get really spiritual and beautiful and much less about the flesh and more about the energy between two people. So recommend Tantra for things like that. So we do have to accept our bodies. We have to let go of the younger body identity, and we have to embrace the new body identity. And we need to rekindle some kind of confidence, some kind of body confidence, because feeling relaxed and feeling confident in your body will help you to have a healthier, more vibrant sex life. And your partner is going to respond to the way that you feel about yourself. If you're open, if you're confident, they will respond magnetically in that way. So again, it's all about coming back to self, taking responsibility for yourself. There's not very much you can do to change other people apart from being an example and being open and being curious and investigating. The more you demand that other people change, the worse it's going to get. Trust me, I've been there. Yeah. So this is about body positivity, isn't it? And it's big, body positivity. This idea of body positivity is huge. And it's remembering that women, bodies, come in all different shapes and sizes. And the diet industry and the media industry is predominantly run by men, let's face it, with these idealized concepts of women, which are completely unrealistic. So what I love about body positivity is that it is a big middle finger up to the patriarchy. Loving your body is actually one of the most rebellious things that you can do. And as you know, I'm a big rebel. Rebels get results, right? So be a rebel. Love your body. Be a rebel exactly the way that it is. Rock your curves, rock your rolls, rock your lumps, your bumps, your lily white skin. Just rock it, love it. Remember, you are more than your body. Your body houses your soul. And you know, when we tune into the soul beyond the body, we start to become happier and much more fulfilled. But the body is great. You know, the body has nerves and it gives us pleasure. It gives us the ability to feel pleasure, and it's great to be able to tap into that. You know, overthinking plays a big part in this, and I hadn't actually mentioned overthinking, but overthinking can really put a dampener on your sex life. So learning how to just drop the overthinking, or to bypass the overthinking, because the mind will think. It's quite hard to make it stop thinking. Meditation helps. Feeling into the body helps. Building and generating your sacral chakra helps. And discharging energy from your solar plexus and your head by exercising, singing, dancing, sex in itself is going to help. But often, if we're overthinking, we're blocking sex. So we got to go in and break the cycle somewhere. And this is why I say to people, even if you don't feel like doing it, just try and do it anyway, because that will help you to reignite some of those feelings and those nerves down there. Once you've got on the bandwagon of having sex, try and keep going. Yeah. Okay, so summary. Meet your sex life where you are at. Embrace the vanilla, and remember, sex doesn't have to be animalistic anymore. Go up through the gears. Get yourself some great lube. Go to the doctors if you're really struggling with your libido. Get some body identical, HRT, and see how that works for you. Number 2, maintain a positive perspective of your partner. Don't go down that deep, dark hole of resentment, gossiping about your partner, hating on your partner. It's a long way up the other side, and it's best not to go there. Yeah, number 3, really love your body. Embrace your body as it is. Be a rebel. Embrace the body positivity movement. Love your roles. But remember, you are more than your body. Yeah. All right. So I hope you have enjoyed that episode. It's been a bit different for me. I say episode. I'm thinking I'm doing my podcast, but I'm not. This Facebook Live. So again, if you are, if you're loving this group, if you're getting a lot of value from this group, I would ask you to please share this group with your friends. Like let people in, because I'm super passionate about the fact that menopause doesn't have to be miserable. We can we can work through this together. We gotta be open. We gotta talk about it. There's so much out there that we can do. So, as some of you know, I belong to a group of women called the Menopause Expert Club, and we are having an online talk on the 25th of June with, there'll be Dr. Ali there. She's a functional medicine practitioner and a GP, and my other colleague, Livia Francis, who is an exercise champion and a nutrition expert. That's on the 25th of June at 6 p.m. BST, British Summer Time. I'm going to put the link in the group, not on this thread, I'll put it above. So feel free to get in on that. And remember, I have a podcast as well called The Menopause Mindset, and I have lots of conversations with lots of women, lots of other women on that podcast. And remember, if you feel like having some rapid transformational therapy, I'm here for you. It's a wonderful process. We can have a conversation about how it can help you. I know a lot of people on this group have had sessions with me. They can vouch for the fact it's pretty good. Yeah. So drop me a direct message if you want to, and I will see you next week. Have a lovely week, ladies.